Hey YouTube, it's Mixie Tarot. So I'm coming to you guys with another video regarding another black man who's been killed here in the United States. The young man's name is George Floyd. He was murdered a couple of days ago by the Minneapolis police. I wanted to hold off on doing a video because the police department acted so quickly in firing those police officers. I know that the FBI has actually gotten involved, and I think a couple of hours ago, the mayor, his name is Jacob Frey, actually did a news conference where he called for the arrest of one of the officers. Now, let's just pose a hypothetical. If you or me, whether you're black, white, Indian, whatever, assault someone, shoot someone and wait there until they die, and you're standing around, you're part of the same group, you're like a little gang, and you are watching as your gang leader or the group leader or your friend is holding this person down, choking them, or watching them bleed out until they die. You stand there and watch. Do you think the police are going to come on the scene and say, "Oh, you guys can go, but you stay. We're going to press charges against you. You guys who watched it happen, you don't have to worry. Nothing's going to happen to you." That would never happen. They're taking everybody's behind in, and they're going to question everybody, and everybody's going to stand trial. Like it's like an accomplice. You participated. You may not have killed him, but you participated and you watched as it happened. You could have stopped it. You could have called someone to say, "Hey, this is happening," but you didn't do that. So it looks like you're in agreement with what they're doing. So you're just as responsible as the person who has their knee on the neck of someone who's begging for his life and saying that he can't breathe, and you continue to do it. Now, that being said, I know that, like I said, the mayor has called for one of the officers to be arrested. Now, this is a tactic. They're going to see if they can't, they have to do, they're trying to go about this gradually to see if just arresting one officer, let's see how calm the public actually becomes. So it's like in the hospitality industry. You never offer the biggest thing first. You see if you can get away with offering something very small that will satisfy the people. And that's basically what's happening there. The mayor is offering something very small to see if this will calm the people down. If the people do not like what they're hearing from the mayor, they need to continue to protest until every single officer is brought to justice. Everyone is actually arrested and brought to justice. Do not slow down. You have got to keep the fire under their asses. Because if you don't, they will think that it's okay with just arresting one of the officers. Now, this mayor seems like a good guy. I don't know him. I don't get a bad feeling from him. I believe that he's being advised, especially by the police chief, who is African American. I believe that's his main go-to person to see how he can handle the situation. So they feel like right now offering one arrest should be sufficient. But if it's not sufficient, they want to see how much further the people are going to go or if they're going to pull back. Don't stop. Keep pushing, keep protesting until every single police officer that participated in the death of George Floyd is brought to justice. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start my read. Like I said, I don't get a bad feeling from that mayor. I believe that he is sincere in his efforts. He's never been in this. I don't know if he's. I shouldn't say he's never been. I don't know if he's ever been in this sort of situation before. But I think that he does want to do the right thing. He just doesn't. He seems a little bit green, relatively new to politics. I don't know. I don't know a lot about him, but I don't get a bad feeling from him. Um, I've already prayed. I'm going to use the Next World Tarot. I'm probably going to use all of them because I'm getting energy off of all of them. I'm going to do the Gil Tarot, also the Nature, Nurture, and Mixed Emotions. God, thank you for always protecting us, all of us, loving us unconditionally, no matter our skin color, no matter what life choices that we actually make. You still love us unconditionally. Lord, we know that you reign on the just as well as the unjust. We hope that you are cradling George Floyd as he has crossed over at this time. We ask that the angels and the Holy Spirit cover and protect. Cover and protect his family. First three cards out. The Emperor. Someone taking the lead. This could be the police force. You see the shield and the spear. You can see that he's looking in another direction, looking ahead. You see there's a volcano erupting in the background. This could be the police force. This especially the ones who are out in full force during these protests. And like I said, you have volcanoes erupting. This is interesting. Okay, let me get closer to the camera. Look at this. Yeah, I think it was 4 police officers, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. They've been able to stop one, but you still got 3 more out there. So what they gonna do? The people are still angry about these 3. So they were able to snuff out one. I shouldn't say snuff out. They were able to put the lid on one. That's meaning 1 officer, but you got 3 more loose cannons out there. We got the uncertainty card. This is what it looks like in the upright position, but it's in reverse. So it's like I said before, they want to see what they can get away with, meaning the police department, the mayor. Although I do think that the mayor is being guided by the police department, especially the police chief. I think that they do have enough just from the video footage, they do have enough evidence to bring in all of those officers, to arrest all of those officers. I believe that the FBI is going to be an important voice in the decision that's going to be made. As far as the other officers are concerned, there is no more uncertainty. The video shows it. The video footage shows it. All of those officers need to be brought in. And this card is the oppression card, but we got it in reverse. In the upright position, this is what it looks like, but we got it in reverse. So I'm going to take that as a positive, that the mayor is sincere to his words when he says that if you or I had done the same thing, we would be brought in, we would be arrested, we would be tried. I will take him at his word that he will not stand for the oppression that's happening in the police department. I will take this as the police chief as not standing for any oppression in the community, especially the Black community or communities where there are a large number of those living in poverty or people of color. He will not stand for the oppression of those communities. And hopefully other police chiefs around the United States will take his lead. Hopefully mayors around the United States will take the lead of Mayor Jacob Frey in saying that he won't tolerate it. Okay, we got the Moon card in reverse. The secrets are going to come out. This is what it looks like in the upright position, but we got it in reverse. So it's falling on the Emperor card, which I said this has to do with this probably has to do with representing the police department. The secrets are going to come out. If anything is hidden regarding George Floyd or any other case that may be floating around out there, it's going to come to light. The next card that we got is the Nurture card. The Nurture card, this did come in the upright position. So this is going to be the beginning of the end of police. I'm hoping that this means that this is the beginning of it is the beginning of the end of police brutality. They are putting forth the effort to end police brutality. Minneapolis has had a lot of problems with police brutality. All the cities in the United States have. It's just that most of it doesn't make it to the news. They sweep it under the rug before anybody can hear about it. And like I've said before, it's not just Black people who are outraged by this. White people, Native Americans, Latinos, Chinese, Japanese, East Indian. A lot of people are outraged by what they are seeing happening to people of color. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say before I shuffle again. Before I decided to do this video, I tried to tap into the energy of the officer who had his knee on George Floyd's neck, and to him, the feeling that I got from him was he has no remorse for what he actually did. He feels like he can get away with it. If he does get arrested, he feels like, oh, they're just following protocol, but nothing will happen to me. I see him dapping other police officers, another successful murder of a Black man. I don't think this is the first time that he has, if they go back in his records, they will see that this is not the first time that he's probably used aggressive and unnecessary force towards a person of color. I know that people say that we all like to kumbaya it and say we're all human beings, but the truth of the matter is, a lot of people out there, especially white people, do not see black people as equal to them in as a human being. I've said before, as many others have said, that animals are treated a lot better in this country than black people are. Show us George Floyd. Okay, so this is gonna continue with the swiftness. So the arrest of one, but I think there's gonna be more arrests that are coming. We got the princess card, the growth card. This is the growth card. This is falling on the police department and the secrets coming out. They're gonna have to revamp things. They're gonna have to start over if they're really making a sincere effort to um, a sincere effort on working on police brutality, ending it. Show me the police department. Show me the George Floyd murder. Show me anything. Show me anything. I got the joy card. The joy card. I think that with this card, this does not mean that people are happy that something happened to George Floyd. I think this has to do with the family being happy that at least so far, one of the officers was arrested or is going to be arrested. Will anything happen to the other officers? Show me anything in the George Floyd. We got the strength card falling on the speed card and the oppression card in reverse. So with this, I believe that it's the police chief and the mayor standing firm in their belief that this police brutality needs to stop and that justice needs to be served. I also got the transformation card in reverse. I got the temporary card in reverse. I got the regret card. For me, this is George Floyd. I don't think he's handling his transition very well. Okay, so like I was saying, I do not believe that George Floyd is at rest with what happened to him. It was a tragedy. It was tragic. And the regret card, I mean, look at it. There's blood. There's blood all over this card. There's blood on the hands of that police department. How could he possibly rest easy with after what happened to him? It was wrong, and all of those police officers need to face justice. Is there anything else you can show us regarding George Floyd? Okay, I got the intuition card in reverse, and this is just poor judgment. Just poor judgment. Poor judgment on the officer's part, all of them. Poor judgment on the police department's part. I mean, it's just poor judgment as far as justice goes for, in this case, as well as other cases where citizens of color have been murdered by the police department. Isn't Minnesota Amy Klobuchar's state? Wasn't she like a prosecuting attorney or a district attorney, something like that? Uh, I don't know. I'll have to do a special read on her. I know she was on CNN talking about how these officers need to be brought to justice. But I have to be honest with you. I believe it's her trying to gain some points with the Black community because she knows that Black women do not want her as Biden's VP pick. I really think that's what it is. Black people just don't vibe with her. I believe there was a case that a Black man was prosecuted in the murder of a child, I think, in Minnesota. I think there was a lot of controversy behind that. Angels, show us George Floyd. Show us George Floyd. Show us the situation with George Floyd. What should the people do? What will happen in this case? What's going to happen in the George Floyd case? Will the other officers be arrested? Show us what's happening. Ooh. The Queen of Swords was trying to kick her way out of there, and it was in reverse. That's not a good sign. Direct action. But you know what? I really feel like with this card, they're going to try to get away with as much of it as they possibly can, the police department. They're going to try to limit how much they give the community, try to get away with as little as giving as little as they possibly can. The Six of Wands, victory. Victory. Okay, so is this a victory for the people? For George Floyd, his family? I think I'm going to say this is a victory for George Floyd and his family. The Eight of Cups, abandon. Abandon. I'm going to have to come back to that one because that implies that there's some sort of escape from something. The Six of Cups reunion, I believe that George Floyd is now reunited with his mother, who I think crossed over maybe a year ago or a couple of years ago. The Ten of Wands, completion. For me, this also symbolizes interrogation. Interrogation. Something is complete. The investigation is complete. The Ten of Swords. Ruin. Not only has this ruined the lives of George Floyd and his family, but it will ruin the lives of those officers. It's going to bring ruin. Oh, yeah, somebody's going to jail. Somebody's going to jail. And I don't mean like just arrested and put in jail and then bailed out. Somebody going to prison. The son, the son. Once these officers are brought to justice, the people will feel like there's some form of vindication, that the community and the police department and the mayor will make efforts in making things better for people of color, making things better for all citizens, making sure that the purpose of the police department is to protect and serve everyone in the community. This doesn't mean that people won't be arrested, but police brutality is something they're going to actively crack down on. The fire starter. For me, if they do not bring all of those cops to justice, they gonna burn that bitch down. I am telling you, they gonna burn the city down. The fire starter, the Knight of Wands. Oh, I do not like this card, the Seven of Swords, the escape. So they're gonna arrest him and he's gonna bail right out. Kind of like with that attitude, see? The Five of Cups loss, mourning the loss of George Floyd, but also the possibility of there being more loss, more, more loss. Uh, something else is going to happen to a young man, someone younger than probably a teenager in Minneapolis. That card concerns me. Look at this, the Nine of Cups, happiness, gluttony, overindulgence in power, being privileged. This person is clearly privileged. She has an abundance. Grapes. She has overindulged. There's no concern or care about what's going on around her. This would be the police officers. No care or concern. Like just another, N word, dead. What do they care? The Two of Cups connection. This incident, as well as other incidents, bringing people together to fight against injustice, no matter what walk of life they're from. The Eight of Swords, restriction. Somebody, he could bail out, but somebody is going to prison behind this. Somebody's going to jail. If not all, I don't know if it's all of them. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. The Seven of Pentacles. Now these police officers are going to see the other side of the coin. Having losing their jobs, that's going to affect their families. If they go to prison, their families will have to be without them for 25 years, for life, whatever it is. If they get out because of good behavior, that's on their record. Maybe now they can't find housing. Maybe they can't find a job. Maybe they'd have to live on the street. This, what I'm telling you, is what happens to people of color who go to prison. It is a setup for failure. They put you in prison, now you have a record, you can't get a job. They do a background check and find out, that you were arrested for something that you probably didn't even do, but now it's on your record. And now you can't get a home because you have a record. Now you're on the street. You have to beg for money and food because you can't find a job to support yourself. Now you got to be on the system. You don't want to be on the system, and people have look at you negatively when you're on the system. Now these white police officers will get a taste of that medicine. You're going to look at things from a different perspective, a different vision. You're going to have a different outlook. This elderly woman is sitting on the side, stringing together popcorn pearls and selling it for money to feed her and her dog or whatever. My favorite card in the deck, the Page of Swords, the Home of Action. The people ain't taking this poo-poo no more. They cutting through the bull. They're standing front and center, and they are not scared. The protests have got to continue until all of those officers are brought to justice. If you stop now, they will stop at 1. If you continue to protest, all of them will be arrested. I love it. The Four of Cups reevaluate. That's not the people reevaluating. This is the police department and the mayor and the FBI reevaluating, deciding to just arrest 1. And I'm going to stop at this one. Revolution. If those officers are not arrested, they are going to burn that bitch down. I am telling you, they're going to burn it down. Look at this. Fire. Revolution. Defend the sacred. No blood. All right. Let's see. Angels, can you give us some mixed emotions? I'm going to leave it at this. Ashamed. As well, they should be ashamed of what they've done. You see the the child facing the corner and the mom in the background? What have you done? You have to face punishment. You have to face punishment. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm telling the people of Minneapolis, continue to protest, continue to voice your opinions, to voice your feelings about this situation with George Floyd. And the police department throwing like smoke bombs to disperse the crowds. No, they have the right to actually peacefully protest against what has happened to George Floyd. Come out in droves until every single police officer that was involved in the murder of George Floyd is brought to justice. If I was there, I'd be out there protesting with you. God be with you, Godspeed, and much respect. May God continue to bless and protect the Floyd family during this time and protect the protesters. Also protect those, there are some good police officers out there. Protect them as well. Mixie Tarot out.